This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers, and this morning we have a very special guest, Sarah Honeycutt from the Besser Museum for Northeast Michigan. Hi, Sarah.
Brad.
How are you today?
I am doing well.
Well, and thank you for braving the elements. I know, this weekend we sure are getting some weather out there. I appreciate you coming in and, getting your vehicle unstuck just to be here to talk about all the wonderful things that are going on at the museum. I know one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was a new exhibit.
Yes, it is our Discover Northeast Michigan exhibit. It's going to be a 3,000 square foot exhibit. It's going to be opening at the end of this year in December 2024. So we have a big year ahead of us, and we're super excited to get it finished.
That's awesome. I know after all the wonderful things that you did over the holidays with the Christmas trees and bringing in all kinds of schools and doing a lot of educational programming with the kids, hitting the new year off with some really fun and exciting exhibits is definitely, I know, what you guys are always trying to do over there. And so I also heard too that you have some new artifacts from some train artifacts that you have that are going to be on exhibit here soon?
Yes, so since I'm the collections manager, I work very closely with the artifacts, and picking those artifacts to go into the new exhibit has been like the greatest part of my job ever. And so one of the new artifacts that we just got in this past year that I'm super excited about is some items from the original Detroit-Mackinac Railroad Depot that was here in town. So if you've ever been to the Avenue of Shops exhibit in the museum, it's going to be staying put where it's at, but we actually put a huge hole in the wall and it's going to connect to the new exhibit. And so we've been sprucing up the Avenue of Shops, and we decided to add a train depot to talk about transportation and tell the story of how people got to Alpena in our beginnings. And so we started building this train depot. It turned out amazing, but Ron Cady really made it like cherry on top. So he gave us an original train ticket booth grate that goes on the front. It's a beautiful gold color. Wow. And then behind it in the depot, we also have an original time board. So we'll have all the train dates and times filled out, and all of that's original to the train depot that was here that unfortunately burned, and I know a lot of people miss it. And then we'll be able to pull out a lot of like the other train artifacts that we have, like the lanterns and a lot of the photos. We have people who come in all the time that love trains, and they want to be able to see some of Alpena's train history, and it's going to be a great spot to highlight that. Yeah,
it's so cool too, because when you drive around the community, you see all these railroads that they're everywhere. Some are very much active with hauling rock and things from some of the quarry areas, but there was a bigger history to that too, well before the quarries and what it's utilized for now. And it was a main mode of transportation for a lot of people. So there's a lot of really cool history. I'd like to see some of these lanterns. That would be really neat. And I understand too that you were able to acquire a train conductor's uniform as well.
Yeah, we also did get an original Detroit-Mackinac Railway train conductor uniform that belonged to a Clarence Thomas that worked up in Sheboygan, Michigan. That was also generously donated by Ron Cady. And then we recently got in a really fun mannequin to display him. And so the mannequin's name has been nicknamed Clark. And so he came to us from another museum. At the other museum, he was a caveman. So he came in very wild looking, and we couldn't really see the vision. But one of our volunteers, Judy Dolly, took him to the hair salon, and he got a makeover during Christmas break. He got his hair trimmed, he got a beard. We found him some really cool old glasses that we had in the collection.
Wow.
And so he looks like a whole new person, and we're excited to see him sitting in that train depot in his fancy uniform.
Yeah, I can totally see Judy doing something like that, making sure that it fits the part of time that it comes from. So kind of, if you had a caveman train conductor, it would be interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit. You know, and I know too that you have a a large capital campaign going on right now to do some beautiful work. And if anybody out there has not been inside or seen some of the renderings and seen where the footprint of where this is going to take place inside the museum, you need to get inside to see this because it's really exciting and something new for this community. Can you give a little update on the capital campaign?
Yeah, so we have already raised $1.3 million, but we do still have $500,000 to go. And we have until the end of the year to raise that, and then sometime afterwards too. So, because everything's broken down into phases. So.
Yeah, and as you hit these different phases, I know there's some different grants, right, that are tied to some of the direct funding that are either match or leveraged to provide some other ones. So it's pretty awesome that you're 1.1 million into it already, and that's, you know, and you hear a lot about it in the community, but it's just amazing to see the people step up to help with this, right?
Yeah.
You know, and with the collections world and the things that you have, you know, within the museum itself, how do you go about advocating in the community for people to provide these kind of collections for these new exhibits?
Yeah, so I guess one of the hardest things is to tell people what we do have, because there's a lot that people don't realize we already have, and sometimes we don't have the space to take in more. But yeah, it's just kind of starting those conversations. Like with Ron Cady, we didn't know he had this stuff, but we told him what we wanted to do, and then he generously came forward. So I think the more that we talk to people and just ask questions, then that stuff starts to come forward. So
yeah, and it's pretty great too. Even with, you know, my personal experience with the collections department at the museum was finding hundreds of pictures from the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah,
just an amazing assortment that had no idea that history was still very much archived and kept after and kept in a very special place within the museum. And is your collections department getting pretty full?
Yes. Oh yeah. But we're always looking for more. You never know what is out there. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff on our hands. Yeah. Yeah,
because I know with the railroad, that'll be a really great thing. And of course, with the logging, you know, we have such a long, rich history of logging in this community. And, you know, just being able to see some of the awesome things that you have down there and being able to find things to feature is pretty great.
Yeah.
You know, so as you know, we're moving into 2024. Some of the new exhibits are what really attract a lot of people into your facility and your building. Talk about maybe some of the new exhibits other than the ones that we already talked about. But I know we had mentioned something about Judy having a new exhibit.
So Judy won't have an exhibit, but we do have another artist coming up, Bev Wolf.
Okay.
She is one of our past juried art winners, so she is going to be going up. I think we start setting the exhibit next week. And then we do have a fun history exhibit coming up that is being done not by us, but by the Girl Scouts here in town. So they're going to be doing an exhibit all on their own to earn a badge, and it's going to be about the history of the Girl Scouts locally and then nationally.
Awesome. So. Awesome. Well, I really look forward to coming in and seeing all the exciting new work that all of you are putting into it, and see the cool new exhibits that are going to be on display. But thank you again for being here today. It's so amazing how fast these segments go. And you have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Stay tuned after the break for Ann Gentry with the Downtown Development Authority. Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest is Ann Gentry from the Downtown Development Authority. Hey, Ann.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me here.
Hey, well, thank you for being here, and of course for braving the elements outside.
It's my pleasure.
It's pretty awesome, you know, that it feels more like winter, like a winter wonderland now.
It finally does. I know. We were like planning the Ice Fest and all these activities, and it's kind of like doesn't even feel like it's really January, but today it does. So we're good.
And speaking of Ice Fest, that was one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. What a perfect segue into that with how beautiful it is out right now. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming Ice Fest.
Yeah, so this will be our third year doing it in partnership with Thunder Bay Arts, the city, some of the credit unions, lots of different organizations. So it's Saturday, February 10th, starts at 11 a.m. at Mishikiwis Park. And then 3 p.m. is when downtown activities start, but the ice sculptures will be on display all day. So there's going to be a whole bunch of kids' activities. I think there'll be a snow hill.
Cool.
Now that there's actually snow for sledding down at Mishikiwis Park. I think the city is going to try to make a ice rink this year at Mishikiwis for skating, dueling, you know, ice sculptures, live sculpting, yeah, lots of different stuff going on.
So that is one thing that we've heard for many years, right? About this ice rink, about the Mishikewis, how when we were kids, you always went down there on the weekends, and they had this this maintained ice rink that was out on the big area out there. And how exciting would that be to bring something like that back to the community for an ice fest?
Right. Yeah, and the historic ice fest used to be like all about outdoor winter activities back in the day. Like there was a toboggan hill, which probably was not safe at all. There was speed skating, there was figure skating. So it's cool to see, like, especially the city be really supportive of like trying to make that space an outdoor recreation area in the winter again.
Yeah, what an awesome and what a great event to bring your family to get out of the the winter doldrums of with all the snow and everything that's going on, but just to go out and do a really great activity with the community and see a lot of people, have some hot chocolate and bonfire and do some really cool activities and go sledding, of course.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's definitely one of those big winter events. And like you said, I mean, there's so much for kids. And last year it was like 40 degrees. The first year it was like negative 20. So this year is going to be a perfect 20 degrees. So definitely like check out the schedule. It's all online, and prepare to come out and have some fun with your kids or by yourself or your friends or whoever.
And if anybody's looking for information too, they can always call the DDA and get a lot of information from some very friendly, wonderful people.
No, thank you. Yeah, they get more information they probably ever needed. But yeah, there's a few events coming up this winter. So it's nice, after the holidays, kind of town just kind of settles down a little bit. So we're looking forward to that coming up.
Well, and one of the events too that you have coming up is the Cocoa Crawl.
We do, yep. So this is also our third year of this event. So there's 30 businesses that are participating downtown on Saturday, January 27th from 11 to 5. So they'll be passing out different cocoa items. So it could be like little Hershey's Kisses or a hot chocolate. They'll have different specials, and then you can visit 10 businesses. You'll get your little passport, get it stamped, and you can be entered to win a downtown gift basket. So it'll be a fun, kind of cozy day of shopping. As I mentioned, it's really slow after the holidays, so we're hoping people come out and support downtown businesses.
And it's so great what you do too, to engage individuals to go and visit the businesses that are downtown. And why it's so important in the nonprofit world is that all of these businesses that are downtown turn around and make donations to nonprofits and help others through the services or their board work or whatever it is. So it's such a symbiotic relationship that we all have, that we need to support our local vendors and our local businesses just as much as other businesses too, but even more so.
Right, no, absolutely. And that's what we always say. It's like downtown is a combination of nonprofits, businesses, and the majority are locally owned. So these are people that are, supporting nonprofits, they're sponsoring things, they're volunteering, all those good things.
Yeah, and there's such great shops that are down there. Yeah, of course, go and give Griffin, Griffin James, you got to give him a hard time.
Oh, of course. I mean, every day. We're neighbors across the street, so he's always checking in on me. So, yeah, lots of good businesses. And, 2023, we had, I think, just under 10 businesses open or relocate downtown. So, like Sanctuary Cinema opened. So, lots of good changes and definitely some opportunities in 2024 as well.
Well, and as we talk about that too, you said that there are some other properties that are becoming available.
There are, yep. So that'll be one of our projects for this first part of the year, is really getting the word out. So Denise Burke's law office on North 2nd Avenue is for sale. The building between the cinema and Black Sheep is for rent, where Omni used to be. That's about 7,000 square feet.
Oh, wow.
And the nucleus is closed, so that's in the center building. So definitely some shifts downtown, and we're hoping that the community really steps up. So if you've ever thought about opening a restaurant or a shop or relocating your office, there's certainly some properties that are going to be coming available. We'd love to have you part of the community downtown.
Yeah, and there's such a plethora of different opportunities for people to go into, from hairstylists to clothing and those kind of things. But it'd be great to see another restaurant or something else come in there and just make it even more vibrant than it already is.
Right, absolutely. We always say it's like an ecosystem. You always want it in balance with all your different types of businesses. But we definitely have some needs that I hear all the time. A brunch place, another cafe, a bakery. So definitely some needs as well that we're looking at.
Yeah, and even potentially some rentals.
Yeah, or even more housing as well. We have like 50 units downtown right now, but there's definitely some second-story spaces that could be converted.
Absolutely. And then, another thing I know we kind of wanted to talk about a little bit here was the boundary expansion.
Yes.
and you know the value of this to our community and why it is so important. But talk to us a little bit about where we're at with the boundary expansion.
Yeah, so the boundary expansion has been approved by City Council, and we have agreement with the county for funding for that. So that was a great way to end 2023. So now our boundary extends all the way down Chisholm Street. It previously ended at 5th, which is where St. Bernard's is. Now it goes to where the old Big Boy is. And then it also incorporates along the river, so where you used to be at the Boys and Girls Club facility, and then up North 2nd Avenue to where the old Polish corner is.
Okay.
And like a block beyond that. So it's a pretty big expansion for us, but what's exciting is that now all the stuff that we do, from events to marketing to business recruitment, we can now do in those areas as well. And then those properties can access grants that we have access to as well. So I know you understand the value of grant dollars, but there's quite a few grants that are specific to DDA properties or properties within a district of a DDA. So we're really excited that people can access those if they want to rehabilitate their building.
Well, and one of those grants was the facade grant right now that you have going on right now, and there's applications that are available, correct?
They are, yep. Our first deadline is February 23rd. So the DDA received $400,000 from the state that we can re-grant out to facade renovation projects. So this is huge because usually in a given year we have about $10,000 in our budget for each project. So this year properties can apply for up to 50% of their total renovation. So if it's $200,000 project, they can apply for up to $100,000. So definitely, you know, if you're in our district and you're thinking about, you know, rehabbing your facade, please reach out to our office and I'll get you that application.
That's awesome. Wow, and that's what a great opportunity, though. That you know, it's something that some of these businesses may be thinking about, have been thinking about for quite some time, and to be able to have that opportunity through you and working with you to, you know, spruce up the outside and make things a little bit more inviting for businesses, and of course that expanded area of course helps that.
No, for sure. Yeah, we're hoping there's some in our expanded area that will take advantage of this opportunity. So we're excited to see what people come up with.
Awesome. Well, Ann, thank you so much for being here today, you know, and talking about all the great things that are going on with the DDA and how you're making Alpena just an even better place to be.
Hey, it's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and hope to see you downtown at some of these upcoming events.
Oh, we'll see each other.
Yeah, sounds good.
And thank you all for joining us as we continue to learn about the world of nonprofits in our local community. Please stay tuned after the break for the ACC segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. I'd like to take our time today to cover something that appeared in our spring 2024 update. It's an insert in the Alpena News. Came out recently, a very nice piece of work led by Jess Hoslin, our communications tech at ACC. She put together a very attractive, informational, accurate, tabloid-sized insert, and had rich with many interesting stories. And I wanted to focus on one in particular today, and this is written by Mary Egan, a director of Alumni Relations, and it's entitled Flexible Gift Funds Innovative Program. So this is around housing. And I'm reading from the article. Dick and Janine Boyce knew they wanted to help students seeking an education at Alpena Community College, but they weren't exactly sure how. Dick, an attorney who long practiced in Alpena, and Janine, class of '62, a social worker and ACC alumna, spoke with ACC Foundation Executive Director Brenda Herman about how they could best help students in need. First, the couple thought that creating a scholarship might be the right way for them to assist students in getting an education. But when Herman shared some of the other needs that students had when it came to affording the cost of school that went beyond the bill for tuition and books, the Boyces decided to trust the ACC Foundation to know how best to use the couple's gift to benefit students or the institution. Not long after the Boyces made their generous, unrestricted donation, Herman identified a recurring need of a distinct student population: out-of-district, early middle college students who had to travel long distance to complete their education at ACC. This would be the 13th year, generally speaking, the third year of that cycle. Students in the early middle college program elect to attend a 5th year of high school that is completed entirely at ACC, allowing them to graduate with both a high school diploma and possibly an associate degree. ACC has early middle college agreements with 9 high schools throughout the state, It's a number that's growing, some as far away as the Upper Peninsula. Since these students haven't yet graduated from high school, they aren't eligible for federal or state financial aid, on which some would rely to assist with living expenses like rent and utilities. With access to the Boyce's generous gift, the ACC Foundation created the Early College Housing Assistance Program. The award currently covers the cost of rent for on-campus housing for select out-of-district EMC students attending ACC. The Early Middle College Housing Assistance Program allows awarded students the ability to prioritize study time over commuting time. So how much is that? Whether people are in district or out of district, from where they come from, we charge the same. It would be $4,500 for the 9 months for a room at College Park Apartments. Unrestricted gifts ranging from small to large, $500 a month that would be. Unrestricted gifts ranging from small to large can be pooled together to help students and the college in a number of ways. For more information about how your gift can help, please reach out to Brenda Herman, ACC Executive Foundation Director. So thank you to the Boyces for their generous gift, and thank you to Brenda for her thoughtful, creative, innovative way to help students, and for Mary's accurate and well-written article. Housing is a keen point of interest for ACC. We have housing that will allow 64 students to stay on campus. We would like to add more. I would say we are intending to add more. And where I think we will end up is another 32 beds. So that would be another unit similar to the 2 units that we have. Also similar in architecture. 4-bedroom apartments with a bathroom and living space on the ground floor. And on the second floor, bedrooms and another bathroom. So another unit like the 2 we have would serve 32 students. So that would give us a capacity of 96. Current estimates for that addition to campus would be approximately $4.7 million to build. And new construction is right now running about $300 a square foot or slightly more. So it's not an inexpensive proposition. We're on our way to raising that money. We would prefer, I would certainly prefer, and the trustees would as well, that we could have that money in hand and not have to borrow money to cash flow or build or complete the project. So that is our current initiative in the housing area. We think that that would take about 10 months to build. So it's unlikely, very unlikely, that this would be completed by fall of 24 this year. That is just not enough of a window, and we're not quite ready to go. But what we are looking to try and do is have it built for August of 25. This is an important piece. You know, when students attend, generally they start in the fall, and that's when an additional housing piece would be really helpful. Why do we need more housing? Well, we have probably twice as many students who say they would like housing than we have housing for them. Traditionally, they could find rental units in downtown or around the area. Those are much less available than they used to be. So who are these 120 students that want housing? Some are early middle college. Some are athletes who come from around, don't come from Alpena, but do come to Alpena Community College. Some are utility tech line workers who come from around the state. Some are concrete tech students who come from around the state. There are students, who come to ACC for the programs that we have that aren't local. And if there's not housing for them and they can't get housing in town, they can't come or won't come. This impacts enrollment in a negative way. So it makes sense to build more housing. We're moving toward that. This article explains one reason why for a specific swath of students, but there are many students that would benefit from more housing at ACC. So that's the story this week. We have a giant storm blowing in this weekend, so be careful, be safe, and we'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Queen Bee's Knees LLC production, a Morgan Murphy media company. All rights reserved.